Britain is a low trust society, and you can tell this by cheese literally having security locks on them. It's just pathetic. It's pathetic at how low value items in UK are now security locked, where you need to get a manager to take it out the glass or to remove the tag. It's just so pathetic. Like, we used to invent things. We used to like lead the world in terms of inventions in science, medicine. How have we gotten to this point where we're locking up cheese? It's just absurd. It's just absurd. It just feels like in Britain, it's kind of, it's almost like this like open air prison. Like you can't walk outside, you know, with certainty that you're not going to get robbed. You can't take the underground trains without fear of getting robbed or stabbed or whatever. You have like this constant like low grade anxiety in Britain, and this is like the consequence of being in a low trust society. You kind of have like this feeling like you're in this like open air prison. You know, nobody's really trusting each other. You know, there's always reason to look over your shoulder or to like question the guy sitting next to you, and not for any bad reason. Like, you know, you should be a bit anxious in Britain. Even in the more affluent areas of London, you know, people still get their phones robbed. They still get their jewelry and Rolexes taken. So it's just like, there's not really anywhere to go. Even if you're like a rich guy in Britain, like you're still, the low trust society has came to you. You know, you don't need to find the low trust society. It's going to come to you. Now, I know like a lot of people in the comments are going to say immigration. And yeah, that's definitely partly true. Like third world immigrants is a bit of an issue. But I think there's a bigger issue at play, which is anarcho-tyranny. Anarcho-tyranny is basically when people that are like degenerates are kind of treated with kid gloves, and kind of the authorities are kind of indifferent to them, like actual criminals, guys that are gonna like assault people, steal, you know, actual like criminals that you picture in your mind. They're gonna be kind of indifferent to them. And you know, there's plenty of examples of this where, you know, people that you kind of want to be locked behind bars, and to be frank, would be better off being sold as organs. These guys are, you know, kind of treated indifferently. Whereas, like, if you're like a normal guy just wanting to be left alone, they're gonna fucking throw the book at you. Anarcho-tyranny is having bottle caps on your water bottle fused to the rim, so you can't take the bottle cap off because you can't be trusted to have a bottle cap that you can remove, but you're also at risk for being stabbed just randomly. That's what anarcho-tyranny is. You get the worst of anarchism, which is like a state of lawlessness, but you also have the worst of tyranny. You don't have free speech. You know, you have all these rules and regulations and licenses. Do you have a license for that, mate? You have all that shit to deal with in anarcho-tyranny. Now, the type of anarchism that I like is, you know, if someone steps onto your Bitcoin farm to steal from you, you can just blow their head off with a AR-15. That's the kind of anarchism that I like. But anarcho-tyranny is obviously not anywhere near as cool as that. It's this, let's just make the lives of normal people as difficult as possible while doing absolutely nothing against people that are actually predatory. That's what anarcho-tyranny is. It's such a terrible system. It is a system. It is a system that produces this low trust society. It's not this accidental thing that, you know, we're just like, oh, the authorities are just like, they're a bit naive and they only need to be taught the right way. No. These guys know what they're doing. Issues like petty crime are so easy to solve. Like, it's totally a solvable issue. This isn't like trying to break, you know, the speed of light or anything. You just create an incentive structure which actually prevents this from happening. You know, the left always likes to talk about like systemic solutions to systemic problems, right? And yeah, I kind of agree, but maybe not in like the way they're thinking. I do think you have to take the problems that are in first world countries like America and parts of Europe. I think you need a systemic solution to it. I don't think the boomercorn fuck around and find out. I don't think those viral clips of the occasional robber getting beaten up is enough. I think you do need a systemic solution to this. The side effects of people just standing around while like some bakery is getting robbed. You know, you've seen those clips, right? Like you see people having like trash bags of, and they're like putting shit in that they're stealing, and people around, and even the employees of the store just standing around doing nothing. If you want to like stop that, it's very easy. Here's what you do, or here's what my solution is. If I had to like make a law, I would put in a fine of 10x the value of whatever is being stolen to be paid to the store owner. So what that means is, if you steal 10 pounds of goods, you got to pay 100 pounds to the store if you get caught. Now, this does a number of things. It obviously increases the costs of robbery, because now you have to factor, this potential 10x payment into it, right, if you want to rob a store. But also, it creates an incentive structure for the stores and employees to persecute the robber. Because if you're like the manager of like a store or whatever, you can very easily negotiate with your employees that you get like a cut of the 10x fine if you actually catch the thief, right? I think it would get rid of like a good 75% of all petty theft in the UK. Like if you just implemented that, radically changed the incentive structure so that instead of normal people subsidizing degenerates, you now have degenerates subsidizing normal people. And that's kind of what you want. Humans are very simple. Like you create like incentive structures. Very quickly, people are going to conform around those incentive structures. The reason why people are robbing Greggs for sausage rolls is because they know nothing's really going to happen. If you actually want to solve the problem, you got to stop nothing happening from happening. But the thing is, the cathedral, the authorities don't want to solve this problem. They don't want to solve it because it's so easy. It's so easy to make Britain a higher trust society. You could do it overnight, over a week. You just change up the laws so that you change the incentive structure to punish people that are immoral, thieving, stealing, assaulting, and increase the costs of that, while also creating an incentive structure for people to persecute and stop crimes. Now, again, like what I'm saying should make perfectly logical sense, but that's the problem. The authorities are not operating in good faith. They're absolutely not. Like the boomercon mindset, which is just that the authorities are naive and they don't know what they're doing and they're stupid. I don't think they're stupid. I just think they're, as I said, anarcho-tyranny. These people want the system to be like this. They want the average guy, a normal guy, to be living in constant anxiety. That's what they want. Like the purpose of any system is what the system does. If you see clips on Britain of people filling up garbage bags of goods that they're stealing and people standing around doing nothing, that's not an accident. It's people have been socially engineered to do this, and it's a solvable problem.